Do you want to be more successful, happier, richer even? Life coach Cassandra Gaisford says it could happen with a bit more positive thinking. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
I think quite appropriate, really, with Dancing with the Stars tonight. Those positive thoughts.
Yeah.
But we were talking briefly in the green room before about how many thoughts people have in a given day, and you're saying up to nearly 800,000 thoughts a day, and probably 70% of those are negative.
Yeah, the brain's pretty active thing. I think most people, when they try to silence their mind, and that's a big challenge people have, they really realise how many thoughts they're having. And a lot of those, if you listen to a lot of people, what they're talking about is often quite negative, or negative affirmations like, you know, I'm not very confident, or I'm not very successful, or no one will hire me. So, yeah, it's filled with a lot of negativity.
You talk about the dreaded Ds, depression, despondency, despair and doubt.
Yeah. And I'm smiling because actually they're very serious things, and there's a lot of people that are suffering from those things and feel really hopeless. But with very good mind training techniques, and some people might say it's Pollyanna thinking, oh, you're just talking it up and fluffing it up. I don't really care what it is or what people call it. It's more, does it change those Ds around? You know, maybe we'll call them As with affirmations, and that changing those depressive thoughts to being hopeful, like you saw with Jonu. If anyone saw Jonah last night, talking about how he kept the faith, and he kept the hope, and he kept the visualisation of being able to walk again after his kidney failure. You
talk about affirmations. Let's talk about affirmations and how people go about, you know, doing those kind of things. Yeah.
Sometimes people struggle with it because they think it's on being silly. It doesn't. If you're, for instance, if you weren't feeling very confident, or you didn't have a lot of money, or you had a lot of people are suffering from a lot of debt, it might not be, I'm a millionaire, you know, because it might feel like that's just a little bit. And the important thing is you have to believe the affirmation, even if it's a little bit of a stretch. So it might be more, every day I'm attracting more wealth, every day I'm feeling happier, instead of I'm a happy person, which, you know, so you have
black and white, really, isn't it? Really,
yeah.
So you're saying that, I guess it's like setting goals. You have an end goal, but there's steps along the way to achieve that end goal, and there are little steps. So you're saying with affirmations, the same process.
Same thing, and with goals as well. It's one thing just to say a goal, but the other thing is to put all those powerful techniques. Well, you know, I mean, you're obviously setting out to dance in a big way tonight. I'm sure you're not just saying an affirmation. What other techniques are you bringing in that's helping you?
Well, you talk about visualisation, and I think it's been an important part in my sport throughout the last few years, and for dancing. And I think about the first 3 weeks of preparing for this end event, I was having negative thoughts because, you know, I couldn't achieve those goals, but things have changed around because I've visualised the evening and what's happening. And I think with people that they need to do that, you need to believe that it's going to happen and see yourself doing it.
And to know it's normal to have negative thoughts. So it's not like we want to disown them. It's a normal part of living. But the important thing is for them not to become prisoners, to imprison you. And the Dalai Lama, I remember when he came in, I found his quote that he said very inspiring, because he said that negative thoughts are like weeds. So if gardeners out there, you know, convolvulus, you don't have to plant it, it just takes over. And he said that positive thoughts are like flowers, and you have to actually, every day, you have to nurture them. Whereas negative thoughts, they're just everywhere. They're like toxins, where it's bad news or bad press or someone whinging or someone in the workplace. But don't worry about that, because you can still change your attitude. That's the one thing that you can change.
Let's move on to visualisation, because I kind of touched on it a little bit. If people are wanting to go about that, what's the process that they should go through?
There's a couple of techniques that can help. People who might have seen last month's show, and we looked at the image board. That's quite a powerful way if you're having trouble trying to lock it into your mind. So an image board can be a really great way. Just putting, at home I've got a big wall, and we just paste all the things that make me feel really happy and inspiring, family, friends, other things. That's one way. I think a big thing that would be really a fantastic tool for a lot of people to take up, if they could, would be to learn to meditate. Now, it doesn't have to be, you don't have to have a mantra, and you don't have to subscribe to some new age, kind of new religious thought. It could be just as simple as repeating a word like one, over, because what our mind's doing with all those thoughts is having so many random things that we're not disciplining ourselves, taking control of our mind, just to lock onto one, to give it a little. There's a lot of research in A lot of more success, more peace of mind, and more ability to tap into creative techniques comes when we still our brain to a certain level, wavelength, whereas when we're not meditating, we're all kind of...
all over the place.
Yeah, we're burning out, you know. So that's a couple of techniques that can help: meditation and image board. Dreaming, just going to bed and maybe you wake up and have a horrible dream. Oh my God, someone's going to foreclose the mortgage. Well, stop it right there, stop the tape, and just imagine that something helpful is going to come along. Even if you're faking it till you make it, be amazed at how many people have actually turned their lives around just by changing their beliefs.
What if people they're doing all these things, they're positive affirmations, visualisation, yet when they're at work, they're in the workforce, they've got this negative environment around them, the people that they're around. What would you say to them in that situation? Because that is tough, because you're doing all the work, but you're exposed to it in the workplace.
Yeah, and I'm sure shortly we're going to look at that, the shot of what negative thoughts can do to our bodies. But one way is either you just walk away from those people. I've worked in workplaces where people have been like that all the time, and it's really draining, like you wilt. And so one thing is either just to save that person. You're probably not aware of this, but I'm just... And so it's not sort of blaming them, but just saying, I'm just wondering, you know, you seem to be sort of quite negative. Is everything okay? So maybe it's offering that person some help. Or the other thing is just to walk away or just say, look, I don't want to hear that. Which can be quite hard. Well,
it's interesting, I've been in a situation where I was in a job and I did have that negativity around me, and I ended up leaving the job. I walked rather than... And I felt so much better for it. I think in those situations, it's not always, you know, you can't always do that because it's your form of income, but I think if it's affecting your health and your mentality, it's a good way of moving on.
Yeah, I worked in a workplace like that too, and I got shingles in the end. I kept trying to like make it work and close it off, but your body barometer never lies, and sometimes you're better to walk. And that's the cause, I think, for a lot of organisations. They need to actually have a zero tolerance of negativity in the workplace, take it off site.
That's right.
Get a punching bag and, you know, let off your steam somewhere else, but don't bring it to work.
Speaking of those negative and positive thoughts, Cassandra, we do have those still stores, those pictures. You might want to talk us through them. This one here first.
That one there, you just have to look at it and ask yourself, is that a negative thing or a positive thing? And it's pretty beautiful. It's pretty radiant. And that's from great DVD, if anyone wants to get it, What the Bleep Do We Know? And it's all about here's a molecule of water, and we're going to look at the other one shortly. But it's been exposed to loving kindness thoughts, you know, really positive thoughts. Same glass of water from the same spring. And that's the molecular structure we saw before.
And the second one, we can bring it up now?
Yeah.
There it is.
Yeah, now, well, what does that look like to you?
Disarray.
The S word, it looks like a lump of not pleasant stuff. So that's the toxic, that's how damaging it can be if our bodies are 70 to 90% water. Then if we're being exposed to negativity all the time, and that is changing our molecular structure, well, it's pretty difficult to be positive if you're always exposed to negativity. So yeah, that's pretty revealing, and I think I guess the biggest thing people can do is just reframe. Just don't even get into whinging, don't even get into self-harming thoughts like I'm stupid or I'm never this or I'm never that, and just talk it up, talk and act positive.
Well, Cassandra, you've been very positive with us today, and thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thank you.